Hey guys, it's Josh the car guy with another one reviewing a 2025 Mercedes-Benz GLS 600, Maybach with obsidian black exterior and a carmine red leather interior. Check this thing out. I mean, you can't beat it. Look at that cluster. 91 miles, guys. This is basically brand new. It's actually what the client wants. So we're just reviewing a few things here in detail. Of course, I'll walk you through a few things that we do look at before we, call in and say, hey, look, it's very good. Now, for this particular deal, of course, we've already called the seller, had prior conversation with them, and things are definitely lining up. We're just doing some final touch. Of course, I'd like to take you guys along the journey with us. But yeah, this is definitely a nice I just was talking about a BMW, guys. A nice Mercedes Benz, GLS 600. You can't get it better than this, and of course the leather inside, it just sets the tune, right? So looking at this vehicle, it had one owner, okay, 91 miles. Why one owner? So 2 to 1 sometimes what generally happens is if it goes from one dealer to the next dealer. So it's if there's no demand at a particular, dealership, and some other dealer wants it, they actually purchase it from one another. It basically writes off as one owner, and at the same time, it from the Carfax it actually states that. So generally, that's the case with some of these vehicles. Sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't. It just states zero, but in this case, there's no red flags there. Now, of course, you guys possibly looking at the price tag. They have it sitting at about 195,000 on the price tag. Now, generally, do these sell like 195,000? It depends, right, on the trim level, the certain features that it has. Now, arguably, the bid is at 169, so that kind of tells me two things. Usually where the bid start is usually where the line is where they'd possibly be fine with it. So in between there, being that they allow us to actually make an offer on this thing, tells me that there is wiggle room, whereas we possibly maybe 175, or better yet, even get this thing at 168 or less. But of course, we'd had, just as stated, we had some prior conversations. It's kind of looking a little bit good. I see some room for some price differences here. But of course, let's just dive into here. So we have one owner on this vehicle. It's pretty clean, 91 miles. Nothing to talk about. It is a green light. This indicates, of course, there is a guarantee on it and everything else. So that's always good. Run and drive, ready to go. We have some special notes here. As stated, you have obsidian black, as stated, carmine red. And you have some special notes like additional high value equipment includes increased towing capacity with trailer hitch, paint protection film, headliner in black, Napa leather. These are the things definitely our client was looking for. Title is present. That's another big thing because sometimes the title is not present. It could take up to 30 days to actually get these titles, and then that creates a problem in itself due to the fact that, of course, we're trying to export this vehicle. But this is very nice. It has all the covering, all the accessorial stuff, and looking at the MMR values here. Of course, there's not much due to the fact that it's 2025, 91 miles. They're not selling much of these. But at the same time, from what we can gather just in a few months ago, that these things, 4,000 miles, 154, 137 and 158, 5.0, 143 at 20. So yeah, still, even looking back at the end, 168 at 5. Okay, so looking back, just as at the numbers, the bid price compared to the buy now, as I was stating, 169 at bid, so 2 to 1, about 175. I would reckon we possibly could walk away with this. So my guess game there was entirely wrong. And then, of course, looking at the CR, which is condition report, you have green light, two keys. These are things you definitely want to look into. A vehicle like, at this standpoint, it'd have to have two keys, or it's something that we would require either way. Looking at, the tires, everything looks good, no issues, fully functioning. And of course, once more, once we do this quick review, we're also going to do an inspection as well. If we, have another conversation and we kind of gather a little bit more information that triggers that. But other than that, this is basically brand new. You can't get it better than this, right? So everything looked good with the CR once again report with this vehicle. Of course, we're going to gather a little bit more pictures. They have 8 here, but we do have some more pictures actually ready. But this is originally coming from Georgia. So we've already looked at the MMR. We see the prices. This kind of really tells me a sweet spot is around 175 for this thing compared to what they're asking for. And of course, to be quite honest, our client is fine with the 195, which really and truly will relate to, at least 197 to 200,000. They're totally fine with it. But of course, for us, wherever we can help, because we do know customs, that would make, the ultimate difference there as well. And then, of course, ultimately, we want to check the Carfax. So we pull Carfax on all these vehicles, whether it's new, whether it's not, to see, the story as always, per usual. And of course, this one, as stated, previously, one Una. So nothing much there. Of course, 4 miles. This was last year. And looking at it, you'd have the regular checks from Mercedes-Benz. Vehicle offered for sale, 12 miles, vehicle serviced, title registered as personal vehicle, first owner reported, loan or lien reported, vehicle could have noted, and of course it's up for sales. Now, of course, this is coming from Mercedes, and then there's a different dealer that is selling this. So just as I was stating before, you see this all the time where dealers to dealers, they possibly got a good deal off of it from another one. There's high demand in their market and they want that vehicle, and they possibly they had somebody who wanted it, so they went ahead and got it. And then, the deal went left, and then now they're stuck with it, right? So at this point, this creates the opportunity whereas, someone like us, we could swap in and be like, hey, look, we're ready to go, etc., right? Which brings back an opportunity for our client in the way that we mitigate all of this, right? So generally, the Carfax look good, pictures look good. Of course, our guys can physically check this thing out. But other than that, 91 miles, brand new vehicle, Mercedes-Benz Maybach GLS 600, 2025, 4.0 engine. It's a very good deal. And I mean, we're definitely going to move forward on this by the looks of it. Have another call, have them drop up the paperwork, take a look at that, a little bit of back and forth there, and then progress forward. Thank you guys for watching.